Hello guys, just wanted to make another quick video update on the Gerber center drive right here, and some of the modifications that I've made to it that have made a fantastic tool fantasticer. And this has really really improved this tool for me personally quite a bit. So let's just get to a couple of these quick modifications that I made. They're fairly easy to do, but you have to be willing to cannibalize another tool to do it. So, that's up to you if this is worth it to you or not. I'm just throwing it out there for for your consideration. This is as an update for this tool. This is probably my most used multi-tool. I use this more than any other tool. As of right now, at this date, that could change in the future. I have been using some of my Leathermans a little more lately, but for the history's sake, this is my most used tool. As you can kind of tell that this thing has been used quite a bit. The knife blade is, well used, sharpened several times. So, I want to give some updates for people that are considering this tool along with the mods that I've made. I consider the knife blade to be one of its best features. It's, longer than other, knife blades on some other multi-tools. And also I like the shape of it quite a bit. But for whatever reason, and I'm not sure, this might just be me, and I'm not a novice at sharpening knives, keep that in mind, I have some difficulty getting this knife blade as sharp as I like knives to be. Maybe I'm a little too picky. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, you can put a serviceable edge on this knife blade fairly easy, but I like my knife blades a little better than that personally. The sharpness of this knife blade out of the box, I don't consider to be sharp enough for me. It's not as sharp as a Leatherman, for instance. So, and then when I went to go sharpen it, it took me a little while because of the way, it's kind of a hollow grind. It starts at kind of at the top of the blade, goes down, and it's kind of a swooping out kind of blade grind. It's kind of odd in some ways. But I finally figured out the angle that has worked the best for me, and it doesn't sound like it would because it goes against everything they tell you to do. But I'll tell you what has worked for me. I put a 15 or 16 degree edge on this knife blade, and now I finally have it as sharp as I want. Now, it doesn't last as long. It doesn't stay sharp as long at that angle, but I experimented. I started at 25, and then I ended up all the way down at 15 after sharpening this thing, several times. And for me, that's the only way I can get this knife blade super scary sharp is by going to a 15 degree angle. And also it stays sharp reasonably long, not as long as a 20 degree angle, will stay utility, sharp for longer. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on the blade. I like it, of course, as before. The star of the show is the screwdriver on this thing, and that's really, the main reason to carry this thing. And it's if you use a screwdriver a lot, you're really going to like this this tool. I've used this tool really hard. Definitely haven't been nice to it. It's held up really well. The only damage to this tool that I have is to the pry bar. I use the pry bar probably more than anybody else will probably use their pry bar. But it's got a tiny chip on this angle. I was using it to get out a stuck server, and I wasn't even really putting that much pressure on this, and this very edge right here chipped off. It's hardly worth mentioning. I'm just mentioning it because making a video about it, so guess I'll mention it. It's not really worth mentioning. You can kind of, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a chip right out of the very edge right here. I don't know, will it focus in so you guys can see it? Maybe. I don't know if you can see that or not. My eyes aren't the best anymore. But small chip, not a big deal. I'll probably just take a file and file that back smooth. It's kind of a rough edge right now, but yeah, but I use the pry bar a lot. Anyway, other than that, no damage to the tool. It's been used hard, and nothing's broke. Everything's holding together. I like the spring-loaded pliers for what I do. Some people like spring-loaded pliers, other people don't. One of my most important features of a multi-tool is the action of the plier, and I think Gerber has it all over Leatherman as far as the action of the plier. I don't cut wire, like I've said before. If I do, it's always flimsy stranded wire, so I don't care about these diagonal cutter. I mean these triangle shaped replaceable cutters that people have so many problems with. It doesn't bother me because I don't use them. But the plier head has, for me, way better action. I just like the plier head on this thing a lot, but that's, your mileage may vary on that. The file has been used, a great deal, and it's holding up, just like any other. This is the same file in all of the Gerber, like MP400, MP600, same file in all those. So that's holding up fine. But one of the modifications that I made, one of the things I needed, was a pair of scissors. Now, they make a version of this tool with scissors, but they made the blade into a combo edge blade where it's serrated in the back and a regular blade in the front, and I hate those blades. I would rather have an all serrated blade or an all plain edge blade. I hate combo edge blades. I've never ever found one that I liked. I hate them all. So when they did that ruined the tool. So you either have to replace the blade with this blade, or you can just keep the one you have and add scissors to the one you had. And a lot of you probably are thinking the same thing I am. So I just added scissors to mine. And on the original center drive, there's a big lanyard hump right here. Right here in the back, there's a big lanyard hump. And I'm wanting to say that the scissors on their version of the center drive actually face the other way. Is that right? No, they still face the same way, but the handle is super short. That's what it is. So the scissors, I think, are slightly longer, and the handle is just crazy nubbed right off. Like they just took the handle and nubbed it right off. This is a full-size set of scissors. These scissors are off of the sport version of the MP400. That's what these scissors are in case you want to do this mod. They fit fine. They're the exact width they need to be. There was no other modification needed to be made. They fit in perfect. The only thing is that this back lanyard hump is in the way. So you have to cut that off, and that's what I did. I cut that off and smoothed it out, made it ergonomically shaped and everything. So now the scissors, let me get the scissors. Let me see. The scissors have enough room to operate. They fully close, and these scissors work really well. Fiskars scissors. And they work really well. They're really sharp. They stay sharp. And for me, I have to have scissors. I have to have scissors more than I need a serrated blade. So there's that. I have been using serrated blades more lately. If my multi-tool does have a serrated blade, I have been utilizing it more recently because of a discussion that I got into with another YouTuber who swears up and down the serrated blade is better at certain tasks. And I was like, oh, really? Like, what would those tasks be? you know, other than the obvious straps and rope and strings and things of that nature. And he goes, well, one of the things I use it for that it's better for is you know, cutting up boxes. And I went, what? My plain edge blade makes short work of a box. I mean, what are you talking about? So I thought he was wrong, and I thought I was right. But I decided to test it, and turns out that the guy was right. As a matter of fact, I tested it with this serrated blade first. And where is that bugger? Here it is. Yeah, I cut up a whole lot of boxes with this serrated blade right here. And the reason being is because I've got in a rooftop tent. And this thing comes in a box from hell. I mean, it's got banding straps. It's super thick industrial cardboard. And I used this to free it from its you know, its captivity. And I have since used this to open up several other Amazon boxes that come, my guinea pig food, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? Turns out that the guy's right. A serrated blade, when used for certain things, work really well. The one on the Super Tool 300 maybe works better than others. I mean, it definitely works better than the Gerber serrated blade. So that's that. Now I've got a Leatherman in my Gerber video, but so those are the two simple modifications I've made to the Gerber center drive. And for me, it took an exceptional tool and made it even better. Now, one thing I want to tell you guys that may help you if you decide to do this is that you can use like vampire pliers to get these specialty Gerber screws out. If you're careful, you wedge them between these two slots, and you can back these out with vampire pliers. If you're careful, you can even do it to where you can't tell that you ever touched it. So that's just a pro tip from me to you. That's how I've been taking apart Gerbers for the longest time. Keep in mind that on a Gerber, one side is fixed, it goes into the frame of the tool, and the other side is the one that turns. So this is the side that turns. This side is embedded into the tool so it doesn't turn. So you don't have to hold both sides. And it's actually, in my opinion, a better system than the Leatherman system because this stays fixed and doesn't move. And so you know exactly which side the screw is going to come out of and which way the post is going to go. I always find when I'm taking apart a Leatherman or working with a Leatherman, I'm not positive. I have to back it out and go, oh, okay, now I know which side is which. But with Gerber, you never have to wonder. It's pretty obvious. So that's just a little pro tip on how to take this apart if you want to take it apart. And be very careful with these screws because there's no replacement for them unless you buy another tool. These are the same cap screws as the MP400 and MP600. Actually, most of the Gerbers use, the traditional Gerbers use the same screws. However, the post is not the same. The one on the center drive is the same as the MP600 width-wise, but it's not the same as the MP400. Just so you know, the MP400 it has one space on both sides, narrower than the MP600. So those are not the same on the MP400. Hopefully I didn't confuse those up, but I think you get the drift. MP400 is more narrow than the MP600 or the center drive. Center drive, MP600, same hardware. So, yeah, there you have it. So anyway, those are some pro tips that I threw in there at the end of the video. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. That's what makes the YouTube algorithm hum down the road, and we want it to hum. And if you like my content, and if, more importantly, if you like me, please consider subscribing to the channel so you can watch more of the videos in the future. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one on that end.